Mandeash, Grewal. Put your hands together. One more time, everybody, for Mandeash.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me here today. What I'm going to present to you today might just change your perspective on everything you've considered up until this point. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to talk a little bit about my background and how I got started with business and all this kind of stuff. So, as a kid in elementary school, I always used to hate rules, listen to other people, and the thing I found in a business, I can go in my own direction, and I can prove you wrong by having as many sales as I want. And so, I didn't develop my first product. It was actually my best friend who did it. I developed dissolvable bandages, and we went on to have $5 million in revenue at our peak. What happened with that company is I didn't have any equity in it, and I was just getting a salary, and at that point I'm like, why even bother, right? And then I had this idea, and you'll see why I had to leave that. So, pet sweeping shoes. Now, here, I'll tell you exactly how I came up with this. So, I have a dog in my house, right? I have 2 dogs and I have 1 cat. And so the thing is I love dogs, and I'm sure some people in the audience must love them too. And the thing is, whenever they come into my house, my mom would always be yelling at me. She's like, there's such a mess now, and I'd always have to clean it up. You know, I hate cleaning. So I came up with this idea. I'm like, what if, rather than the dog making the mess, the dog could clean my house for me, right? Now you're solving 2 problems, because you're cleaning people's homes, and you're also making it so it doesn't get dirty in the first place. Now, who exactly are we going to be selling this to? We are going to be selling this to people who love dogs. I mean, who else is going to buy this, right? And so, the thing is that people who especially have a lot of dogs and a lot of animals. And the thing with this product that makes it so unique and so flexible is that you can use it on different paw sizes, because obviously dogs don't come in just one size. No matter what size your dog is, we'll have something that will fit your dog, guaranteed. So who is on our management team? We have these 2 people on our management team, and I know what you're thinking. Why would you want people like this on your team with you? Well, here's the thing. They are creative geniuses. Much like Kanye West said, I'm a creative genius. That's exactly what they said when they approached me and wanted to join my company. So now here's the thing. By having them on board, we have another line of products that we're going to roll out, and I'll get into that in a bit. But because of them, our company really has an edge over our competition. Who exactly is our competition? Cats. People who, there's one company right now out there who makes one, but it's like cheap, it's such low quality, it breaks within your first use, and their sales are like not even like, well, I think they're like 25,000 a year barely. And theirs isn't flexible. That's our competition right now, but we are going to crush it, and they stand no chance against us. And so, our competitive advantage, we have Mr. Floyd Mayweather as a sponsor. Yes, that is right. Floyd Money Mayweather is our sponsor. And I'll tell you how Floyd got involved in this business, and I'll tell you how I met him. I was in Vegas over a weekend for a conference, actually. Yeah, people like hold conferences there sometimes because you can have some fun on the side. And it was actually the weekend that it was the big fight with Manny Pacquiao. And, you know, horrible fight. If you had to buy that on pay-per-view, I'm sorry, you know, waste of money. But I met him there, and I showed him our product because we had a conversation about a lot of things. And he said he was really interested, and he joined on board our team. He's actually sponsoring us now. And given how huge his following is, how much money he has, it's a huge help to us. And so our revenue, well, as you can guess, we have a lot in revenue. Now here's the thing. You might look at this and be like, well, what's this even mean? Well, here's the thing. If you look at that line, it's progressing up, and then what happened is when we initially launched, there was a bit of a defect in the product. This was because of our old manufacturer. Our manufacturer that we initially signed up on wasn't making them as high quality as we would have liked to. And so we switched manufacturers after we saw our sales dipping. Then it spiked because we had Floyd actually endorse it on his Twitter, on his Instagram, on his Facebook. And now right now what happened is we're progressing there, and that line you see right there, this is actually, the sales numbers are actually on the bottom. So that 13 is actually $13 million in revenue that we've had. And so the number on the top is actually how many people we were able to reach with our advertising campaigns. So that's why we have it like that. The one represents 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and so forth. And so really when it comes down to this, the thing we think will sell this the most is the fact that it's so easy to use. You can just slip it on your dog's paws and you're done. And now I told you there's another thing we're working on to get this moving and to get our brand established. So what we're also working on is, because I showed you that those cats, right? They make one for cats. We're going to make one for cats. We're going to make it better, cheaper, higher quality, and we're going to appeal to more consumers than they do. And that is why we really think that we have the edge in this business. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have now. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So obviously your campaigns have been really successful. So am I reading this right? You're now not reaching anyone.
No. So the thing is this is through our social media. Right now in social media, we aren't particularly active, and the reason is because we found our target consumers, we can actually reach them for cheaper and better through things like word of mouth. And so the thing is, we're all.
Anyone right now.
What? No, that's through social media. Just social media, yeah. Not through things like word of mouth, just because that's really hard to track. And we can track it. We have a separate chart, but unfortunately it's not here that I can show you. Oh, sorry, I'm asking for $2 million for 10% of my company. But I'm really looking for a strategic partnership, because obviously we have Floyd Mayweather on board, so he has the money, but I mean, he can't even read, so yeah. Don't worry, we're close friends, I can say that.
So I'm very much involved in PETA, and I assume that this product would work best on hardwood floors and not hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern is, in the event of a fire, if my dog were wearing these on speed, how quickly can my dog evacuate the house?
Well, the thing is, yeah, we have. We've had independent labs test this, just because obviously we don't want to release something that isn't safe, right? Safety is a priority for us, just because we want to make sure that nobody's getting hurt. And the labs that we had it tested with, the first test we did, we didn't have good results, but what we did is we had an engineer. Our first one, this was before we even launched the product, because we don't want to launch a faulty product. And so what happened is we brought on a team of engineers who were able to design it specifically where it wouldn't even impede their speed. So they could get out as quickly as they would have been if they just didn't have it on. And yeah, it does work best on hardwood floors. On things like carpet, it's not super effective, but for that, I mean, at least your dog's not making a mess.
Did you light the house on fire in your test?
What we did is there's a simulation that the lab can do to see where it can sort of like stimulate that environment. And so what they did was they stimulated that environment. They had, I think they said 13 dogs that they had it on, and they were all able to get out just as quickly as they did. They had a control group, and they had just the other group, and so it was actually the same time. It was actually like basically, I think it was off by like a second or two, and it was actually ours that were faster. So, yeah.
What are some messes the product is cleaned up?
Pardon?
What are some messes?
So, for example, if you have kids at home and they spill something, for example, on hardwood, right? Then it can clean that up, because not only can it dust things away, for example, if I don't know if they're eating crackers and they spill and they're all crumbs now, it can help sweep that away and actually stick if you want it to. We have an adhesive that you can add, or you can just have them slide it. The reason we added that adhesive as an option is, for example, if it's something sticky, like if you spill water or juice, something like that, then you don't really want that sticking. So you can add that as an attachment, and that's honestly one of the things that we think can help us with recurring revenue, because you have to buy those, we sell those in a set, and that's what really we think can help us with that.
What's your 5-year revenue goal?
So our 5-year revenue goal is we want to grow this company by, our next year projections, we're projecting it to increase by 50%. The year after that, we're projecting it to increase by another 50, and the year after that, we're actually projecting it to increase by 200, and the reason for that is we're planning for all of our new products to be launched out during that time. And so because of that, we really think that our market is going to just expand, and going forward it's just going to continue at about a 50% growth rate up until year 5, where we think it'll probably settle out a little bit, just because there's a huge market for this. Yeah.
So it makes sense that cats are the closest competition, right? I get that. But what about lazy dogs, dogs that sleep all the time? Have you thought about how to maybe partner with another company to really wake them up?
Yeah, so we've approached some pet stores about that. just to see if there's any ideas that they had with us, because we're selling them in pet stores mainly and online through things like Amazon, eBay, things like that.
I think Red Bull would be all of those.
Yeah, so we're open to we honestly love to partner with them. We haven't approached them yet, but now that you mention that, I think that would probably be a great idea. In terms of lazy dogs, the thing we found is if you can incentivize the dog just to do stuff. I mean, honestly, this is more tailored towards people whose dogs are active because they're the ones who are going to be making the messes the most of the time. Whereas a lazy dog, honestly, is probably just going to sit there and won't make the mess anyway.